Balls Deep.
Welcome everyone. This is episode 8 of the Balls Deep podcast. We thank you for joining us today. We join you from Tokyo, Japan, and we're sat on the bed. Shelby has her lapel mic on her dress, as she usually does.
On my lapel, as it were.
On your lapel. And Scott has his mic clipped to his beard. And that is not a joke. I actually have it clipped to my beard. Now, you might think I'm an idiot. Well, maybe. But for some reason, my voice doesn't carry in this podcast. Shelby's voice does. We thought it was the mics, and we think it is the mics because we switched, and suddenly my voice became louder. But then we've tested it a couple more times, and all of a sudden Shelby's voice is louder than mine again. So, two things we're doing. One, I'm going to speak louder, which feels weird for me because I feel like I'm speaking too loud. And I've clipped it on my beard. Because every time it's on my top, I think my beard is like an extra, like, what do you call it you put on the mics? Like the wind covers. Yeah.
I should know what the real name for that is. It's like something like it's not a dust cover, is it? That's for something else.
Yeah, it's like a wind cover, but it'd be a nice name for it. So basically, I think my beard is acting as that. So we tested it, and there was no sort of shuffle noises, so I really hope there's no additional noise, no beardy noises, so we'll see. We'll see.
No,
so
what does a beard sound like, Scott?
Well, we'll all know at the end of this episode, I guess. Either nothing or a lot of something.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess just shuffling of hair.
On a related note, as you know, one of my favourite bands is called The Beards.
Yes.
And they're an Aussie band with 4 albums of songs that are all exclusively about beards.
They are. You've introduced me to them. They're great.
Yeah. They've got songs like The Beard Accessory Store, You Should Consider Having Sex with a Bearded Man, and my favourite, If Your Dad Doesn't Have a Beard, You've Got 2 Mums.
That's a great one.
2 beardless mums.
That it is funny.
Yeah, they're a comedy. Obviously, wasn't apparent. They are a comedy band that sing songs about. But like one of the guys has got a beard that is like 4 foot long. Like
really?
Yeah, it was like, practically to the floor.
Jeez,
Yeah.
I guess that's sort of a prerequisite, isn't it?
Yeah, like you can be in the band The Beards and not have a beard.
Yeah, it sort of messes the whole brand up. Well, check them out.
Yes.
They're Aussie.
Yeah, very Australian, very funny.
God, Australia come out with such great bands.
They do. Do you know what? Great comedians as well.
That I don't know as many as you. I don't think they're as well known though.
No, like I think like Celie Piccola, she's probably one of the more famous Aussie comedians, and
the guy from the gala.
Oh, Joel Creasy.
He's
so funny.
He's funny as hell, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's one that's sort of broken out into different countries. Yeah, like heaps of Aussie comedians are very funny.
I might get this wrong. What's his? Oh no, I've forgotten his name now.
Who is he? Describe him to me. Well, the Last Leg guy, he's Aussie, right? Who presents The Last Leg?
I think so. I hope he's Aussie, not New Zealand. Yeah,
no,
I
he's
think so.
definitely not Kiwi. Like I know he's not from New Zealand. Because I can tell you why. It's all in the vowels, Scott. When you hear
oh yeah, tell us.
Because so people from New Zealand, like the vowel sounds are much more like closed off and like so they'll say like fush and chops. Whereas
Right.
Australia would be like fish and chips. Like it's more like e sounds, whereas it's more for us whereas it's more sounds for
Fush and
New Zealand. New Zealand fish and chips. Yeah. Australia, mate.
So wait, do one phrase of both so I get it.
I'm from New Zealand and I like fish and chips.
Fish and chaps and New Zealand. So that's
New
what's
Zealand.
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 I went Irish then, didn't I? Zealand.
I don't know.
So your eyes are going. What's happening to the eyes?
Wait, your E's
Yeah.
become eyes For example, 6 becomes sex.
Sax, and so it'd be New
Eyes
Zealand.
become
New Zealand.
But yeah, New Zealand.
New Zealand.
But your eyes become U's. Like, instead of fish and chips, it becomes fush and chups.
Fush and chaps.
Yeah.
And what about Australia? So say it again, but Australian. And then explain.
I like fish and... No, I can't do it.
It's hard, isn't it?
I like fish and chips, and I'm from Australia, mate.
So what?
That was shocking. I'm sorry, Australia, please let me back in. I love you. My favourite country in the world.
So what was the difference there? So the eyes, what happened to the eyes and the E's this time?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I watched a video the other day and he was talking about like how like anything with an R becomes like ah. Like,
so it'd be car. That sounds like a Hull accent.
Yeah, Barnsley.
Barnsley. Oh.
5 and 9. Bottle of Cook.
I
probably offended so many people already, like 5 minutes into the podcast.
I had a lass at uni called Connie, and her accent was just so funny.
Where was she from?
Hull. And I'd never met like someone with a strong Hull accent. And I was just fascinated by her accent. Like, everyone would just rip into it. No, don't touch the ketchup. I can't keep it back.
Don't touch me Cook.
Yeah, she was
it's
like
5 to 9.
5 to 9. Yeah, she was like super obsessive with like a sauce. I remember she had like a favourite chili sauce or something, and she'd always say, no, don't touch it. It was funny. It was really fun. But yeah, she dropped out, sadly. The Australian comedian I found is Jim Jeffries.
Oh, yeah.
So, bit of a divisive character, but that was the one I was thinking about.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know him so much. Will Anderson, though, has come up on your list there. He's very funny. I don't know if I've shown you him, but he's just like, yeah, he's super funny.
Yeah, I don't recognise him. Tom Gleeson,
Yeah, Tom Gleeson's quite funny. I think, wait, what's she called? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting her name because she's so good. She's got a special on Netflix called Nanette. No, it's not her. She's called Hannah Gadsby. Oh my god, she's so funny.
Oh yeah?
She's brilliant. We've seen a film with her in recently. I can't remember what it was.
Oh yeah, we watched her live on, her Netflix live.
She's so funny.
She is funny, yeah.
I really like her a lot.
Fucking Tim Minchin.
Oh, of course, Tim Minchin. We love
me,
Tim
yeah. Tim Minchin.
Celia Piccola. She's very steady Eddie. I recognise that name.
Yeah, Tim's probably the biggest. He's definitely the biggest breakout of all of them.
He's the most famous, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because
he's got like, yeah.
Great. Rebel Wilson, of course.
Oh yeah.
I love Rebel. I don't know if she's ever done stand up.
Yeah. I always wonder that with comedy actors. I always wondered, like, did you do stand up before, or have you just acted?
I feel like it's maybe a different thing. I don't know. I think that a lot of stand-ups could take on comedy roles, like that Eliza Schlesinger, who's in that film that I was like, it's a great film, and I fell asleep in it.
Oh, yeah. She did. I must say, I wasn't expecting much from, with respect, but, doing films are hard enough, but, a comedian, because she directed it, right? She's like...
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's somewhat semi-autobiographical, isn't it? Like, she plays a comedian in it.
But it's it's actually good.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, fair play. You're a comedian and you've done it actually good. Because there's so many comedians.
Yeah.
There'll be people that break out, like wrestlers even, they break out into acting. They just fucking, it's just shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is a good film. That's well impressive. She did a good film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's done another good... She's done a Mark Wahlberg film as well.
Oh, really?
Instant Family. She plays a really funny character in that. It's like him and a British actress whose name I can't remember, but she's a good actress. They want to foster kids, and they end up fostering like these. They really like this teenage girl, and they want to foster her, even though she's a bit like rogue. But then they find out she's got 2 younger siblings, and they end up fostering all 3 of them. And then Eliza Schlesinger's character is like adamant that she wants a black footballer.
Oh wow.
Because she wants to recreate The Blind Side. So that's like her like mantra throughout it. She's like, I want a black child that's good at football.
Oh wow.
It's a lot funnier than I just made it sound. It sounds really offensive.
No, that does sound. Yeah, but I like films that push the boat. I like films. I don't know why she didn't choose an Asian baby, because they're adorable. If you're ever looking to adopt, Asian babies are adorable. They're so adorable. They're the cutest.
They are.
Yeah, they're the cutest.
You see, I, as a baby, my mum has told me and Michael, my brother, that we were both ugly babies. She said when we were first born, like when we first popped out.
I mean, the babies are pretty manky when they just pop out, aren't they? And they've got all the plasm over them. Yeah, it's like it's like you've been shot by like a Men in Black gun or something.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's
like,
so
grim. It's so
grim.
It's
not a topic I want to dive into.
No, but for anyone interested, the other Lisa Schlesinger film where Schlesinger film where it's like sort of about her, like she plays a comedian in it. It's called Good on Paper, and it's a really good film.
Yeah, it's good. And it is you say it's a true.
I think it's based on true events.
Yeah, it's
because I think
it's about her, isn't it?
She plays herself in it, I think.
No, she does.
Or an exaggerated version. I don't think it's like,
It seems pretty to the truth, because she's like,
I don't know if she's got a different name in it, that's what I can't remember.
Well, she might change her name.
She's called Andrea Singer. So
yeah, but it's a true.
Schlesinger singer.
Yeah, good watch.
It is.
But yes,
that's our summary of Australian comedians.
That was our summary of Australian comedians. So, what a great start. And something that you don't know that I want to talk to you on the podcast.
Oh. As
we like to, we're always looking to how can we improve this podcast. So, obviously, analysing the stats. Analysing the stats is important. She always told me to speak louder, and it just feels like I feel like I'm going to be shouting.
Well, you're not at all. Like, you're so
speak
softly
really
spoken.
Quiet.
You do. How many times do I tell you I can't hear you? But I am pretty deaf.
Yeah, but I just didn't know I spoke so quiet. So I've checked the stats to just as I do, just see which episodes work best. And anyway, so I'm going to put the stats to you, and you can figure out in your head who our audience is, okay?
Okay.
So, 58% is from the US.
Okay.
Okay?
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool, because we know that's not us. So, interesting fact, we have a very diverse percentage in Asia audience, but it also happens to be the locations in which we visited. So we've cancelled them out, but the US, we have not been in there since we started this podcast, so we know that's true. It says 100% male, which is okay, which you're going to argue against because you've listened to it yourself.
Yeah.
But let's say 95% male. Okay.
Okay.
It's all going to make sense. And this is okay, and then 69.2%. Comes to our podcast from the web browser.
Okay.
Okay. So 58% US, apparently 100% male, and 69.2% is from a web browser.
Okay.
Now, what do you think that tells you about our podcast?
Well, people are obviously searching for the phrase balls deep. Oh my god, it sounds like someone's having sex in the next room.
So we're in a hotel, and at the exact moment we've done this, it sounds like a man is groaning.
We have quite a bit of sexy time, haven't we, in various places?
Yeah, that place in Osaka, that was, oh my god, they went to
one couple that was
town on each other, didn't they? Like
every night.
Every night, and the walls were paper then. You may as well have just put up a chair and watched, It was just like you knew.
Arousing.
It was a bit arousing actually, and I think that's okay to say. And if you think that's weird, then I bet you anything when you're in a situation where you can hear someone having sex in the next room, preferably if it's not your mum and dad.
Oh god.
If it's someone where you don't want to hear them, fair enough. But I bet you might not tell people, but I bet you get a bit aroused. It's a little arousing hearing other people.
I think there's a lot in, like, I have partaken in partaken.
You've partaken.
Partaken in a little bit of audio porn from time to time. Do you know about this? I know I'm like throwing you off from your statistics, but have you come across purely audio porn?
Is it like ASMR?
Well, kind of, I guess, but it's like where someone's like talking to you and it's like telling a story and it's really sexy. It's like,
oh no,
I can feel your hand on my thigh. Like, it's really it's super sexy.
It sounds like you've called up one of those.
It's not like, well, yeah, kind of.
People
I guess,
up on,
you're not,
Babe Station 911 or whatever.
But there's these. Oh God, what's his name? I think it's called something like Harry. That's on like this. It's like quite a famous one.
Right.
On, can't remember the website's called. Can probably find it and link it. But there's like a free audio erotica. It's like telling a story to you. Yeah, it's just very sexy, and some talking in a sexy voice and saying what they're doing to you and what you're doing to them.
Well, I'll have to try it.
I think you should. It's very nice.
Yeah, send me it.
I will.
Yeah, send me. I've not tried that. No, I've not. I've not even heard of that. No.
Yeah, which I think is very popular with women because women are quite auditory and like to hear, like to hear sexy things. Which I suppose men are too. So I don't know. Yeah,
I've not heard of another. No one's mentioned that to me, so I'm not know of people. But open to different, especially with porn. When you've seen it that many times, you become numb to it.
Yeah. And
it does become a bit of a, you do it in a moment where you are just really horny. You get very horny, especially when you're in your teen, just super horny all the time. So you have that excitement of wanting to do it, but it does get to a point where it's like you have that excitement and you want. It's like a drive that you need to do it, but it does become less enjoyable because it's just you get so dull to what you've seen because it's just the same stuff, and obviously everyone enjoys different content, but seeing the same thing over and over again, it starts to dull the senses, I feel. And I just find it starts to feel just a bit like ugh, like it just feels a bit ugly after the whole situation is finished. So, but you always have that. Honestly, I'm in my 30s now, so now it's like, it's like I'd have to book it in.
You have to book it. Block out your teams.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to block out my teams. Say I'm working on a priority project and bash one out. Whereas as a teen, you would just go, I feel like one, I'm just going to stop what I'm doing and do it.
Yeah.
So, how times have changed.
They have. But I think like a lot of people will also mute porn because of like it being like unnatural, like over-exaggerated sounds.
See, I need the sound. I couldn't just do it on
yeah. Okay, well I think you'd be well into this audio porn.
Yeah, I like them both together, but I'd be up. Yeah. I'll tell you something funny. At university, I was so I took my Logitech surround sound speakers, placed all around my my room, so play games, watch films, whatever. Anyway, I didn't realise it was plugged into my laptop, and you can guess what happened. And I played porn. I had my headphones on. I didn't know it was happening. So and like I have my speakers on, not like hot, like full blast. It's so loud, like so loud, and it might just play porn for like a minute, so loud, and like I didn't hear the end of it, and then I was like, oh my god, and it was just I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. Yeah, I'm going to be seeing all that. Well, you'll be meeting them for the first time when we go to Sam's wedding.
Yes, exciting.
So they may bring it up. Hopefully not in a speech. It's not about me, so hopefully not. I'm not getting married. But yeah, but so you've figured it out. basically, because our podcast isn't known, it means that people, the most of people are just diving balls deep in Google, and then they're clicking, oh, that sounds interesting. So,
well, that's good. Organic.
no, it's not good because it's funny, but it's not what we want. So, basically, that's just a bit of a funny segment. But I think, we love the name Balls Deep, but it is sort of shooting us in the foot at the moment. Whereas if we change it to something like, it might not be an exciting name, but if you change it to something like more around like couple podcast, something around that, yes, you're gonna throw a quirky name, whatever. But it's more likely to get found. But then again, there's Anyway, let's keep it for now.
Yeah.
Let's keep it for now. But it opens up, thoughts on how we can evolve the podcast. But at the moment, we just have loads of horny American men.
What I can say is, getting some traction on our A City I Love Insta. So when the time comes for us being happy to be like, hey, we've got a podcast, then, we can just put it out on there.
We'll do that.
Yes.
Brilliant. Well, there we go. That's our way around it. So we're going to go through some sort of fun things that we've been up to, which, involve some interesting stories. So it's not just as, chatting away about things we're doing. And yeah, a bit of a mixed episode. But I think what we've got to talk about is pretty funny, actually. And it's also quite personal, some of the things. So it'd be a good few things. So I'll let Shelby tell us what did we get up today?
Today?
Yeah.
Well, it was recently Scott's big 30th birthday. And so one of his presents that I got him, because he mentioned quite a few times, well, he's never shut up about ramen, basically, since he landed in Japan.
That is true.
So he was very adamant that he wanted to have lots of ramen. And we've had some cracking ramen.
That one outside Team Labs was outstanding.
So it's a fully vegan ramen place, literally on the door. Like, I think it's probably connected to and owned by Team Labs. It's that close to it, especially because we chose to eat in the restaurant, which takes you into like this really immersive art space that's beautiful. It's like, it's dark, it was cool, it was very nice because it was a really hot day, wasn't it, that we went there?
Yeah, super hot. And we were in jeans.
Yeah. So it's really nice and air-conned. But it was like, they did have a thing out of the Michelin book, but it was like the Michelin Man. I don't know if that's connected to Michelin stars.
Yeah, it is. No, it is.
Is it? Is that the same thing?
Yeah. That is literally. So, do you know how it came about?
No idea.
It's hilarious. So the Michelin garage.
Yeah.
They were wondering how can they get more people on their doorstep. They wanted more customers. So Michelin garage, to anyone listening that doesn't know, they're an automotive garage, so they repair cars. So they wanted to get more customers. So what they decided to do is they went into another avenue where they would rate restaurants that were close to their Michelin garages. Yeah, literally, this is how it all started. And they would find ones that are really good near their garages, and they would give them a Michelin star, so then people would flock to there and might use their garage.
That is... Are you sure?
Yeah, it genuinely, that is...
blown my... Because they are...
They're completely different things.
I don't want to sound disrespectful at all, but I feel like a garage is extremely, like, working class, whereas Michelin stars you associate with being, like, super bougie. Like, they seem like two totally different worlds.
Yeah, they do.
Like, going and getting your car fixed and going and having a fine dining restaurant experience seem like two totally different worlds.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
Well, I mean, it's worked out.
Yeah, I mean, it's now global.
Yeah.
So they are the standard. They've created the standard, and that is what everyone swears by as the top restaurants.
Yeah.
So, it's a really bizarre.
Yeah, and that's the one and only coveted thing, isn't it? In like fine dining restaurants, there's no other. I mean, like, yeah, you want a good TripAdvisor score, but it's not exactly.
No, if you're a chef, that is the mecca.
Yeah.
You might not.
That's mad that's come out of like a mechanic, like in a garage, who theoretically have no business in reviewing food. Like, they fix cars. Like, that's two different worlds.
Yeah, I was really shocked when I heard it as well. So yeah, and Michelin is a French company.
Oh, well, makes sense.
So we're going to the French Open shortly, and
Can't wait.
and everything in the last week and a half, I don't know why, but we just keep having encounters with either French things.
Yeah.
There's about 10,000 French people staying in this hotel,
Yeah.
which there wasn't when we got here, I swear. And then now we see anyway. We
Yeah.
keep getting French encounters, so I think it's the world saying, be ready.
Yeah.
France is going to be great. So it says here, ChatGPT, the Michelin Guide was first published in 1900 by the Michelin brothers, Andre and Edouard. At that time, there were fewer than 3,000 cars in France, and the Michelin brothers wanted to encourage more people to drive and hence wear out their tyres.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So this is a conspiracy that they wanted them to drive about more, wear out their tyres.
Oh, yeah, so then they would have to go to them
business.
and get more, yeah.
Oh my god.
It's so funny. To do this, they created the Michelin Guide, which provided useful information for motorists, such as maps, tyre repair instructions, and lists of hotels and restaurants. So it had a bit of automotive stuff in there as well. In 1926, the Michelin Guide introduced its star rating system for restaurants. Initially, it was quite simple. 1 star meant the restaurant was good, 2 stars meant it was excellent, 3 meant it exceptional. Over time, the criteria for earning stars became more detailed and rigorous, focusing on the quality of the food, the skill of the chef, ambience of the restaurant, and the level of service. So, yeah. So that's the story, and that just goes into today. It's influential.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's such an odd story, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, it's like, I don't know, it almost feels like the cowboys. Like, I don't know, like they've tried to make people drive about more to try these fancy restaurants so that their tyres get worn down quicker, so that they get more business.
It's a real long game.
It is a real long game. But they did at this Team Labs, the vegan ramen place, they did have like the Michelin Guide on the till. So whether it has got a Michelin star and we don't know about it.
I mean, it felt Michelin.
It felt Michelin.
It was the food and the...
It was exceptional.
It was exceptional. And because we paid for the additional experience, I mean, it was beautiful in every way.
It was not
and the
expensive.
presentation...
Like,
no, it wasn't.
You pay like 30 quid for both of us, something like that.
Yeah, and we got a beer, but we both got beer and a cookie. Or
a donut,
we got a donut
and ice cream. And it was the best ramen I've ever had.
Yeah, exactly.
By a mile.
And we learnt today which one it was, didn't we? Because when he showed it, it was the white one.
No, I don't think it was, because he said that was like pork bone broth.
I
and
just
it was like
guessed...
the marrow, whereas ours was an oat milk base. That's why it was creamy.
Oh, it just looked the same, so I thought...
It did.
Yeah.
So I thought that initially, but then as soon as he said it was like pork marrow, fat bone marrow.
So maybe it's the vegan version of that.
Yeah, because ours definitely had oat milk in it, but it was super creamy, wasn't it? And it was...
Oh, it's great.
And what I thought was saffron on top, because I thought, like, there's heaps of saffron, and saffron
Yeah.
is mega expensive. But what was it actually? Can you remember?
Pepper.
Yeah, pepper skin.
Red pepper skin, yeah. Yeah, it's just like shavings of pepper,
Yeah.
but it makes it look so decadent.
Yeah.
But it was just like shavings of just like a red pepper, yeah.
Yeah. But to get to what we're saying about the
Well,
ramen.
I think you should explain what Team Labs is, because they're not going to know what Team Labs is.
Well, Team Labs is an immersive art gallery, isn't it? It's just incredible. You'd heard about it through MrBeast.
MrBeast. MrBeast did a video in Japan where he met up with PewDiePie. If anyone's into YouTube, the OG PewDiePie. And anyway, on part of that video, he went to Team Labs and he recommended it. And yeah, that's literally why I booked it. And then I had a friend who also went there in a couple of months ago. He said it was ace, so I was like, absolutely.
That Jack.
Yes.
Nice. So I love that. You know, when we go places that people have been recently and they can recommend things.
Yeah, it just.
So thank you, Jack.
Yeah, thank you.
If you ever tell him that we're doing
Thank you,
this
Jack,
podcast.
and MrBeast.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yes, MrBeast, if you're listening.
Yeah.
We're big fans.
We are.
Please sponsor us.
Yeah, please tell us how we get this recognised.
Yeah. Yeah, it was incredible. Like, you start off by, you've got to take your shoes off. And, right. So the one thing about Team Labs that you need to know that they don't tell you, and it's going to make me gag thinking about it,
It's right.
is that, you know, if you just smell the sweatiest feet you've ever smelled, that's what it smells like. It's just, because everyone's taking the shoes off and put them in lockers, it just stinks of
It
feet.
humdings. It really
Like,
does.
honestly, it's turning my stomach thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I'll not speak about that anymore, but just be prepared for that. But then you instantly walk into like a ramp that is water flowing down it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you get to the top and there's a lovely waterfall. And it's like, it's room temperature, isn't it? It's not too cold, not too hot.
Really pleasant.
It's nice. But all of it is really immersive. So there's bits that you walk through that's all like, it looks like it's raining lights. I don't know how to describe it. Like loads of tubes of lights.
Yeah, like I also want to say thousands. Like
It will be thousands. I'm
yeah,
sure.
thousands of tubes of light, and it's just all the walls and the floor and the ceiling is mirror.
Yeah.
So it's a bit disorientating at times because they are just every part of those LED strips are just full of LED lights. So it is pretty intense at times.
There's moments where it'll go pitch black, isn't it? And then it'll come back on.
And it'll come on and
But yeah, good point about the mirrors, because I was wearing a dress but I did have shorts on underneath.
Oh yeah.
But they will loan you shorts, won't they? 'Cause you went in jeans.
I did, yeah. But yeah, so I take my jeans off because you end up in knee-deep water at times.
But if you are wearing a dress, I highly recommend getting the shorts from them as well, because
definitely
you will 100% see up your skirt multiple times throughout the exhibits, because like the floors and ceilings are mirrored often, just because it adds to the experience. So yeah, defo wear either shorts or not trousers, because like
just shorts.
Just said,
yeah, shorts or some
Yeah. But it was so God. There's one room that I wasn't there to ask for, and it was like the big ballroom, the big balls.
Oh yeah.
Because like I felt like, what's the point in this? Like you couldn't really move them. Like there was like massive, like I don't know, 7 or 8 foot diameter balloons, basically, weren't there?
Yeah, and they were like lit up. They were all lit up, and they were. So it just it wasn't like it was technology meets art. It was a tech art museum. So they were artistic rooms, but they were the addition of technology and immersion, which meant sometimes you're going in water and there was projectiles of imagery and lights on the water or on the ceiling, so it was super unique. We've never experienced anything like it.
No, and in that one room where you go into the knee-deep water and there's like fish going around, if the fish...
Not real fish.
Not real fish. It was like projection of light. But if that fish was then to swim into you and it noticed that it hit someone, it'd turn to flowers.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like, so there's no... It's a totally unique experience because none of it's duplicated. It's not on a loop. It's... You affect the art and the art affects you. Like, it's so unique. It was incredible. Like, there's that one where the light was coming through the raindrops, and if you put your hand under that stream of water, and it stopped all the other water, and you were like holding the sole water that was now running with the light, and then if you took your hand out, then it was suddenly everything was light and raining. So it was really impressive that you could really get involved. Like, I know people say that something's immersive art, but it's not always.
No, this was truly immersive, and it's good for all ages. Like kids would love it as well.
Oh, there's that family, wasn't there?
Oh, that kid was hilarious. Because the kid. I mean, now he's in knee deep water. For him, it was like up to his waist. So for him, he's now in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And I don't think he meant to. I think he tripped.
I don't know. I think he did it on purpose. Like, I think he just dove in it.
Yeah, he just dived in, and the mother was furious, and he was so
head to toe drenched on it. It was so funny.
But yeah, it's great. And I feel like even us saying it, I don't think it's easy to visualize. For us, it's very easy to visualize, but even us saying it, I don't think it'll be easy to visualize.
Yeah.
So maybe if you want an insight into it, just type in Team Labs or go to the MrBeast video. But I highly recommend it. It's only in Japan from what we know.
There are a couple, I think, aren't there?
There's a couple in Tokyo.
We did Team Lab Planets.
We did Planets, and that was awesome. That was the one that was particularly recommended. So it's awesome.
And we were conscious of the fact that, like, we intentionally didn't film anything or take any photos because we just wanted to experience it. which I'm so glad that we did that, because it was incredible. There'd have been so many moments that I'd have wanted to get my phone out and film it or take pictures, and I think that would have really detracted from the experience itself. Like, as a content creator, I totally get the desire to do that. You know, I take photos and videos all the time. But I'm so glad that in that, because of what it was, we've really fully experienced it. And, I wasn't whipping, because I would have 100% like...
Whipped out.
Yeah, I'd have got like an hour of content easily.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for bearing with us. Bit of a technical difficulty. For some reason, one of the mics stopped working. Bizarre. We haven't had these mics for long. But it did. It just halfway through the episode stopped working. Therefore, we're re-recording the last 30 minutes of episode 8. We've jotted down our notes. So we're going to just re-say, or go through, probably more concise, which is good because we went about 10 minutes over anyway. So it's easier for you guys. So sorry about that, but we're back. And also, we now have one mic. So that's fun. A bit more difficult because the other one's not working, but we will bear with. But we got on to taking photos. And this is an interesting one for me because a couple years ago, before I carry on, I just want you to hear Shelby's voice, just so she is here.
I'm here. He hasn't killed me. That isn't why why it stopped. Yes, and just to add briefly, funny story. While you've got me, before Scott starts talking about that, that we were just a few moments ago having some intimate grown-up time, and Scott said to me, are you okay? Because like we've just, we've gone from having really nice intimate time to now going straight into recording the podcast, because we've got the end of this episode to record and then a new one to record. How exciting, back to back. And I was like, well, actually, I think it works out well because we've gone from being balls deep to recording balls deep. Boom. And that's all I've got to say on that matter.
There we go. Thank you, Shelby. So yeah, we are here. And sorry, the sound quality might be a bit up and down this episode. We're figuring it out with one mic. It's not easy.
Shelby let it in post.
Yeah, you probably barely heard Shelby then. Yeah.
She'll edit it in post.
There we go. She'll edit it in post. So you heard that. So yeah, swiftly moving on. So it was to do with photos. To be honest, I don't know how we got there, but we're there. But yeah, I have a strange relationship with taking photos. A couple of years ago, I remember it being a Christmas. I was thinking deeply about this for a long time. About taking sort of, should I be taking photos of moments that, I'm really enjoying? And I basically came to the conclusion that I shouldn't. And there's two reasons for that. Number one reason, whenever I am in a moment where I want to take a photo, it's because I'm loving that moment. I don't want to forget that moment. And every time that I have then whipped out my phone, taken a photo, recorded a video, I'm instantly taking myself out of that moment. So instantly that is impacting the moment. And some people, like you might not appreciate how much it does, but it really does take you out the moment from all the decisions you're making through just getting that perfect shot. And you might be someone who takes 3 photos, but at the end of the day, you're trying to get the lighting right, you're trying to position yourself, you're trying to get the background correct, you're trying to get everyone in, or whatever it is you're trying to show. You're really trying to get it perfect. And then after, even if you are someone who just takes a couple photos and leaves it, you tend to think about it and you think, it's probably not quite there. Maybe I'll take a photo later on. And then you take another photo later on. And then maybe you want to post it to social media. And then you want to post maybe a video. So it's just, there's a lot of thoughts that it then generates in your head about, critiquing and making it perfect for whatever reason you're going to use it for, a lot of the time for social media. which is probably another topic I can get onto for another episode. So for me, if you're gonna have these moments in life, and you really want to immerse and really feel them, then I really feel that taking photos or any content is completely taking you out of that. So that's number one. Number two, I never look back at my photos, and if you say you do, you're lying. It's just people don't. Yes, you may look back at them maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple of days later after a gig, after a holiday, whatever it is. Maybe show your family. Send it on social media. Yeah, sure. The days, weeks after, you're gonna look at it a bit, but from that point forward, you don't look at them. And this is my other piece of the argument, is that everyone says they want to keep that memory. They want to be able to see that memory again and again and again and again, but no one's looking at them. I have storage. I have a terabyte hard drive that has nearly half of it just photos and videos, all the way from when I was a young lad in school. I've never looked at them. I've never once logged into them, but I spent hours and hours in downloading them off my phone and saving them for one day. And for me, I just don't think it's worth taking yourself out of all those special moments for the sake of looking back at them 4 or 5 times in your life. Again, I'm not arguing that those moments wouldn't be nice. Yes, would I like to look back at photos, my family, my kids? Absolutely. I think that moment would be lovely. I do not disagree that wouldn't be lovely. But for the sake of that happening 5, 6, even 20 times in my life, and it taking me out of every single special moment that can be so hard to generate, like really unique moments. Sometimes, a lot of the time, they just happen like when you don't plan things. That the unexpected happens and you can't repeat it. And I just feel like it totally takes you out. So they're my two arguments: is no one look. I don't look back at them. And for the times I'm going to look back at them, I don't think it's worth it for the amount of times it's going to take me out of really my life. You might argue saying I'm thinking too deep on this, but I really feel it, especially if you loop social media into this, then it's a whole new ball game of stuff. And you can't argue that doesn't impact the experience. I personally don't use social media. I only use it for work because I market it, and I'm in marketing. But personally, I dropped social media about maybe like 8-9 years ago. 8 to 9 years ago. So, and it was great. But that's another conversation. So that's my argument to it. I'm not, if you want to carry on, knock yourself out. But I've really questioned about genuinely deciding never taking a photo or video again, even of if we had kids, to that degree of not doing them. I'd never stop Shelby from doing it, but me personally, I've genuinely contemplated, and a couple of Christmas ago I was going to do it, and then I sort of calmed down on the idea. I just floated, but I haven't committed to it. But we have definitely massively decreased the amount of times we take photos. We don't critique them as much. We just sort of take them and just one and done a lot of the time. So I feel it's still impacted us in a positive way. Whether I'll go all the way, I don't know. I'll see. But that's my view on taking photos and videos in today.
Well, and I think that, I have a totally different stance on it. Well, I understand absolutely where you're coming from, and I agree with everything that you've said. I think it's very valid points that you're making about being taken out of that moment. And I remember you saying, like, early on, I think it was probably the first Christmas that we were together that you mentioned it, that you're thinking about doing that. And you even said, like, to the point of, like, no wedding day photos and all this. And I love taking photos. Like, I really love photography. I love videography. And, when I've been making the vlog for our travels, A City I Love on YouTube, for anyone interested, I've really enjoyed looking back at them, because I tend to edit them a month or 2 months after the fact, because I'm still quite slow at it. I really like looking back on the memories and and I really feel like I'm reliving that moment. So it's for me, I do like taking videos and photos, but I totally get that. You know, when you're in the middle of enjoying something and then someone's like, right, photo, and then you got to take like 20 of them. Like I get not wanting to do that. I really like candids though, you know, like when you just take a photo out of the blue and yeah, like when something feels special to take a photo of it. And I totally agree with the social media part, which is I suppose kind of counterintuitive because of me making posts for social media, but I'm doing that as like a way of like blogging and documenting travels, not as a like I don't really post on my personal social media accounts. It's purely like the travel accounts that I'm doing like as something that I want to be able to look back on for years to come and be like, oh yeah, do you remember that when we were there, and look at that what we did there, and also potentially as a one day an income stream, but that's a different point. But yeah, I think, you know, if my first point is ever, my first thought is I want to take a picture of this because I want to stick it on Facebook so people can be impressed by it, then I think I've lost the reason for taking the photograph, really. If that makes sense. Like, I think I love photography as an art, and I like having the photos to look back on, because I know you said that you never look back on photos, whereas I do. Like, you're on a plane when I've got nothing to do, or like, you know, I've run out of my films that I want to watch or whatever, I will look through all my old photos and videos, and it really brings a smile to my face, and I love having them there. So yeah, that's my take on it. But we've got a unique device, haven't we, Scott, that we are using to limit our photo taking.
We have, and just one point on what you said about Facebook. I think a lot of people don't do that consciously. You know, they don't consciously think, I want to take this to impress people. I want to take this to get the engagement. I want to take this to show how I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. I think that's not a lot of the time conscious decision. People are just so ingrained to putting it on social media there, which is, for me, a bigger problem, because what we're saying here won't really reach people in the right way, because they're like, well, it doesn't affect me. But that, for me, if you're saying that, then you're just not really aware of the impact it's having, because you're making those unconscious decisions. If you're posting it, you know, and it's fine if it's your job, you know, if you love it, you know, do it all day. But yeah, I just don't think it's healthy for us, and I just, what, we're here to live. Like, who fucking cares about someone else, you know, seeing your updates every day? Like, you know, I just don't. I think it's a waste of time. You know, share it with the people you love. You know, let them know what's going on. You know, I get people make jobs out of this. That's fine. You know, I love watching a lot of these people. But if you're just doing it for the sake of it, you know, and you're not getting a great deal of fun out of it, I just don't get it. Well, I do get it, but I just don't get why people would put themselves through that. You know, it's like women putting makeup on. You know, it's a shame because, you know, society has created an environment where it's a norm. So it's like, if you don't wear makeup, that's odd, which is a shame. And I feel like, yeah, and I think, you know, like with me, so with social media, you know, no one ever asks, you know, if we meet someone, you know, on our travels, you know, when we're trying to, you know, share contact details, the first thing they always say, it's not a phone number, it's always Instagram. I'm like, well, I have one, but I stopped using it like 8 years ago. So I'm like, so I always just say, oh, get Shelby's Instagram. Because, you know, yeah, I sort of lost my train of thought a bit there, I'll be honest. But Shelby will help me.
Yes. Well, just, yeah, a note on that. Obviously, as a mostly non-makeup wearing person, I feel like that could be a whole other topic, which I won't delve into right now. But yeah, it's an interesting point that, yeah, it has become a norm to be on social media, and you're seen as some kind of rogue for not being on it. I can remember when I was in college, we got given these on the first day, like as an icebreaker. We got given a bingo grid, you know, and you had to go around and get the name of somebody who XYZ. So it would be like find someone in the room who was born before 1990 or whatever, like, you know, for someone that was maybe joining the course a bit older, or find someone wearing glasses, go and get the name and write it down. And one of the things was find someone who is not on Facebook, like, and that's, you know, considered a rarity, which is quite funny. But what we're about to talk about, and I'll pass it back over to you, is our unique way of taking photographs but making it meaningful and not something that's taken us out of the moment, rather that is part of the moment itself.
I think, no, you carry on. I think you create, we've got a disposable camera and you are the one who made that happen. So I think it'd be best for you to talk about it.
Okay, I will indeed talk about it. I don't know actually where the idea originally came from. It may have been inspired by your desire to not take lots of photos. And so it's never as far... Okay, I feel like I'm too loud now, though.
No, you're not. Sorry, I was trying to...
Oh.
I'll take that.
You'll take what?
That it was me that inspired it.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I think that it was. Because, I mean, I used to love my Polaroid camera. I thought that was great. And what I love about disposable... I mean, so many things that I love about disposable cameras. I mean, the fact that you don't know what they're like until you get them back, I think that's great. I love that you've always got one that's got someone's finger covering it up. There's normally a nude in there, which actually we've not taken one yet, so maybe we do that. And then, yeah, there's always like one at the bottom of your bag.
There is, shall I tell people, there is a nude photo.
Is there?
In Mexico. It isn't on the disposable, but I wish we did. But Shelby got horribly burnt on the first day in Mexico. I think it was our first international travel. No, it wasn't. But yeah, anyway, it was one of our first trips together internationally. I think it was our second. But yeah, it was just Shelby in her caboose on bed with a sombrero over your lady parts.
No,
so over your tushy, yeah, her caboose. So it's hilarious because you know it's what you know when a Brit gets burnt abroad, it's the major red and the major pale white. It was beautiful.
Oh. Beautiful to you, painful to me. But we actually did get one, didn't we, by the customs officer, because we flew through Dublin. You clear customs in Ireland, which is so bizarre. They just have a US border in Ireland. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was very weird, and also it meant we came minutes from missing our plane. It was infuriating because we had to do 2 passport controls and 2 securities, I believe. I know we had to do 2 securities. Did we do 2 passport controls as well?
Yeah, because we had to clear customs in Ireland and then for America. It's like, because we found out that it was cheaper to... Like, if we were going to buy the flight, it was to Cancun. It had a stopover in Dublin, and then we were like, well, it's £100 cheaper if we book those flights separately. But then, yeah, that meant that we had to clear customs in Ireland and the US, which we didn't factor in, and we had to leave the airport, re-enter and all that. Anyway, yes, I got very sunburnt, and the US customs officer in Ireland said, like, that Yucatan or like Cancun sun, it was like, it's not like other sun, like, it's really strong. And we're like, yeah, right, okay, well.
And there is actually some sense, rather than him just saying it for a laugh. If I'm not mistaken, there's environmental sense. Like, the ozone layer has been over there is more. It's my sense. It's thinner, or it's been pierced.
Yeah, it's like in Australia and New Zealand. I think there's a hole in the ozone layer above Aussie land, so I think it's like that. But yes, so we didn't have the disposable camera for that, but I got it before we went to Burning Man because I really didn't want to be on my phone. Well, for one, there's no signal anyway, but I didn't, Burning Man's such a unique experience that I didn't want to have my phone in my hand all the time, and I thought if I did, then I'd just be tempted to take pictures and videos of everything. Like, if it's that, because it's so unique, such a, well, I say once in a lifetime experience. I'm sure we'll do it. You've done it twice, and I'm sure we'll do it many more times. But that's why I wanted to take a disposable camera there, because I wanted it to be just for those wow moments, because you're limited, like, to, I think it's I don't know if it's 30, I think it's less than that, photos on a disposable camera. So any photo I take, I want it to be really like that desire to take a photo in that moment. Not just, okay, let's take 20 on that angle, right? Portrait, landscape, let me do another one because I've got 3 chins, whatever. It's like just raw photography, like raw moments that are captured. And so we've continued, because we didn't use all of the pictures yet there, like maybe might have used 10 of them, if that. Later that year, we also went out to Yosemite and Lake Tahoe, and we travelled around California a little bit. I went to Music Festival Aftershock, and so we've taken photos there. And then we've taken at least one photo in every place that we've been this year, I believe. I don't think that we've missed anywhere. And so we will continue to use that. And I think it's really nice because, it's just, it can be just, I just really feel like capturing this moment and taking it always with us. And that's then when we'll take that photo, rather than, right, quick selfie with that landmark or with that monument or whatever.
Which one is your favourite
photo that we've taken? Well, that's a great question. My favourite photo that we've taken on the disposable. Can you give me some examples that are in your mind?
I mean, I can only remember the recent ones. I thought there was an obvious one.
Well, what's the obvious one?
Disney.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, Disney. So, yeah, that probably will stand out as... Oh, no, of course it is that one. That is the one. That's 100% the one. So we went to Disneyland in Tokyo recently, which was amazing. And again, I could probably do a whole podcast on that. But if you're in Tokyo and you don't go to Disney, like, you need to. It's the best park of all the parks, and Disney Sea in particular. But what I found out about Tokyo Disneyland is that they still have Toontown, which is where they have all the characters' houses that you can go in. And that is such like a core memory for me of like family trips to Disney, getting my picture taken on Minnie Mouse's sofa and in Mickey Mouse's chair and all these different things. It was such a well-themed area of the park. And in Mickey's house, you can actually meet him. So we went all through his house, which was really cool. And then we queued up and we met him. And we don't have a digital photo with him. We only have that disposable one. We did want one of each, in fairness, but they were like, no, it's one camera only. So we chose to have it on the disposable camera. And that for me is so special because, all my photos from childhood in Disney will of course be on disposable photos. And anytime I come across them, it's just magical. Like, they are so special because they are unique, and there's not a digital copy of it anywhere. It's not been shared anywhere. They're just in my mind and on that page. So that's it for me. Any others for you, Scott?
Yeah, I think you've meant a lot of good points, and like Shelby's saying, because you've only got 30 and we've had it for over a year now, I enjoy it so much more just using that. So maybe if you're feeling like maybe you're agreeing with what we're saying about taking photos, maybe switch over to that. Maybe promise yourself for a couple of months you're just gonna take photos on a disposable. Maybe that'll help you sort of transfer over. Or get a dumb phone, which is not me putting a silly word to it. They're actually called dumb phones. Basically, they're just old phones. If you write in online dumb phones, that's what I've bought. I've bought a dumb phone, so the photos on it are shocking. But it just calls and texts. It's it does have apps because, taxis and maps are like banking apps are like just some basic apps I need. But yeah, it's been a great way of stopping me taking photos as well. But my favorite one that to memory is I'm going to go Daft. I'm going to go in the Aftershock one, where there was this guy we were at one of the stages, and this guy just came running over, and I think he was dressed up as Batman.
He's definitely in a costume.
Yeah, and he just came running over and then just passed out on the floor, like just straight down. He was a big dude as well, just straight flat on the ground and just laid on his belly, just out. So we people laughed, and he just it was funny. He just, I mean, it's a hot place. You're out all day drinking in this proper hot Sacramento. So I don't blame him. But he didn't move for like 40 minutes. So then people started to get concerned. But his friends were not in the slightest concerned. They were just laughing and joking. But these college lads came around, and they put toilet paper around him, just made it look like a murder scene. And this guy, he did not move an inch at any point, and he had like a crowd of people just around him. He just didn't give a fuck. Like, he was just like, I'm not moving. And we snapped a photo of it, and I just think it's a really funny photo. I'm yet to see it, but yeah.
Find out what he was dressed as. We'll find out what he was dressed as when we see it.
We will, so that'll be good. And he stayed still for so long that even the security ended up coming in and be like, dude, are you okay? And then he eventually did sort of murmur and went, yeah, I'm fine, I'm not moving. I think he was just so shattered, so I look forward to seeing them. But yeah, we I think to wrap it up, I know we're going to go.
One more thing to say briefly about that. So just about the disposable camera, one joy that I didn't anticipate from it is how much others enjoy using it. We ask people to take a photo of us, particularly if they're like north of 40, I'd say. I mean, our age as well, obviously remember it, but I think it's more like a core memory for people who are like probably 40s and older. Anytime we ask someone older than us to take the picture, they're like, oh, wow, I haven't seen one of these in years. And it's just, for me, that brings me a lot of joy, like to see someone, like, it feels like they're looking like they're holding a piece of history, and that in itself is really special. Like, I wish we could like snap a picture of them when they like hold it and like, oh god, I haven't seen this in years.
See, that's extra joy from it, isn't it? Everyone enjoys it, so go out and get a disposable camera. I can already see we're going to go over time, so we'll speed this up a bit. But I haven't a clue how much we spoke about our day. But we went on a ramen and gyoza class, which Shelby bought for my birthday, which I was very happy about, because I'd been saying I wanted to get ramen from the day, even before we hit Japan.
Been ramming it down my throat.
Literally an hour ago. Right, but it was great. It was, it was nice. It was an intimate experience. Ramen's pretty easy to make.
Yeah, and gyoza was easier to make than I would have thought, and it was really fun.
Yeah, they're both really easy to make. There's a lot of steps, but they're not technical. Probably the hardest bit is making the gyozas look nice when you fold them, but you get the knack of it after like doing 6 or 7 of them. And yeah, super tasty. I reckon you could do it much quicker than how we did it. Probably do it all in like 40 minutes maybe.
Yeah, because he was like showing us step by step, and we had to wait for each step to be completed before moving on to the next one, make sure everyone was at the same level. Like, the whole day was a 3-hour class, and I think, yeah, you could easily have done both things within an hour together.
Yeah, I guess even the gyozas, you could probably do the gyozas, to be honest, in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's just chopping all the stuff, putting it in and frying it in, and then steaming it.
Yeah, because the cooking process of the gyoza is like no longer than like 5 minutes, probably even less. Yeah. It's really quick. So, yeah, if you want a quick snack, learn how to make gyoza. Super tasty. You can always change what's in it. Quick, fast.
So it's got to have cabbage. No cabbage, no gyoza, we were told. So it's got to have cabbage and then whatever else you want.
There we go. You heard it here first. And, yeah, and they were very catering to us, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. So I'd asked in advance, of course, for vegetarian and vegan options. And when we arrived, like one of my confirmation emails did say one vegetarian and one vegan, but then on one of the confirmation emails it said no dietary restrictions. So when we were walking through the door, I was like, "It's Shelby and Scott, and we're vegan and vegetarian. Is that okay?" And he was like, "Yes, absolutely." And he'd already set up the stations, like, you know, and our station that we were sharing was obviously fully. Well, yeah, it was all vegan, wasn't it? Apart from the egg on the ramen that you could have chosen to put on or not, and I obviously didn't, and you did.
Yeah, it was soy meat, so quite common vegan meat. Very nice. What's the company called?
Well, the company's called Buy Food. So that's a website where you can. There were loads of different things on there. You know, different experiences. And you can, if you don't find what you want, you can contact them, and they can kind of like curate something for you. But yeah, that's where I found out about it on Buy Food. I'll be able to find, you know, the name of the place to put in the description for. But they were super. It was a married couple, and they were fantastic, weren't they?
Yeah, they were very sweet. They were very sweet. Yeah. So yeah, it was a great experience. You know, I can get a bit uncomfortable in small social situations with people I don't know, but you know, I enjoyed pushing that a bit out of my comfort zone, and it was good. It was really nice. It was nice, you know, everyone was really sweet in there. Yeah, just mainly.
People from all over?
Yes.
Or Americans,
mainly Americans percentage, but to be fair, with American, Swiss, I think they were from Belgium. This mother and son.
Yeah, I think they were, and yeah, they were all just super nice. Mostly, I think they were all East Coast. Oh no, there's one guy from Chicago, and the others were East Coast America. Yeah, lovely, absolutely very nice. Like talking to them all.
Yeah, it was lovely. I think I'll keep my running update for the next one because we're gonna go over by 15 minutes otherwise.
Yeah,
so
only like 6 minutes over.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave it there, but keep an eye out because we've got a couple of new things coming up on the next episode. My running update on how I did on my ultra, on my 70k ultra in Japan, in Suo-Shimen, Japan. And we also have a bit of an interesting episode next time. Yeah, that Shelby is prepared, so it's going to be a bit different.
Shelby knows absolutely nothing about the next episode, so I think that's a joke.
It's not a joke, baby. You know what it is. You've got the link and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's a really exciting episode. Yeah. Okay, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And I want to say we thank you for taking a break from your day to get balls deep with us. Until next time, remember, stay ballsy.
Dive deep, but don't forget your snorkel.
Balls deep.